sounds nice, that's for sure. All right, man, a little cold start before we bring her in. We're gonna bring her back to Ford and have her diagnosed. What's happening, everybody? Street here. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the Stang Stories. Update number 6. I told you guys I wasn't going to do a bunch of frivolous updates, but today's was important enough that I needed to fill you guys in. But before I get to the update, I want to actually talk to the community as a whole. Just kind of bring everybody up to speed on what's going on with my story. Because I'm getting a lot of people coming in at like update 4 and 5, and they're asking a lot of the same questions and kind of giving the same advice and the same info. At about 2,200 miles, 2,400 miles, I think, I got my oil changed. Everything was going good. Had no issues with the car other than some minor rattling and or stuff. Sorry, I'm trying not to swear in these videos. Some minor rattling and stuff that I got fixed. I've always had kind of an issue with my shifter being kind of notchy. And a lot of you guys know about that. But otherwise, the car's been running great and no issues. So at about 2,400, I think, ballpark, I started noticing this ting, 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 you know, and it was one of those like, do I hear something? Do I not hear something? What is that? So I put about 125 miles on my car a day when I go to work, and I do that commute 3 days a week. So putting 1,000 miles on my car isn't really that hard. So after about 800 to 1,000 miles, it started getting louder. It got more pronounced. I noticed it more. So I said, dude, I got to bring this thing in. I had already been aware of the engine tick, what people call the barbecue tick or the piston slap, or, you know, regardless, it's got so many different names, but doesn't always seem to be the same issue, to be honest. I think a lot of the different issues that people are having sound the same. So I brought it into my dealership. I told them exactly what was on my mind. I said, hey guys, I'm hearing this tick in my engine, and I want to be proactive. I want to get my car in, have you guys look at it, see if you come up with anything, because there's evidence all over the internet of this causing cylinder wall scoring, and ultimately just taking engines out. So I dropped it off for the day. Of course, they couldn't recreate the issue. So I came to pick it up at the end of the day, and it started doing it immediately. So I pulled the service advisor, the service manager, and the technician out to my car, and I said, listen. So I showed them what was happening, or I showed them. I let them listen to it. They heard it. They acknowledged it, and they said, okay, well, can you bring it in this coming Monday? I think that was like a Thursday that I did that or something. And I said, yeah, I can bring it in. They said, leave it with us for a couple of days. We want to cold start it, and we want to tamper with it a little bit. Fine, no problem. Said, we'll give you a courtesy car. So I brought it in that Monday. I let them listen to it again, said, here's the problem. After about a week, they started calling me back and saying, hey, man, we've been arguing with Ford Hotline about this. Ford Hotline says that they want to replace the solenoid that controls the variable valve cam timing. And my technician was like, that is not the issue. He argued back and forth with Hotline for a couple of days until ultimately they decided to replace all the lifters and the cams. And that's where it stood for about 3 days or something. I got a call back saying that, hey, Ford is not going to replace the lifters and the cams. They are actually going to send out a field investigator to assess the car after my technician fought with them about, hey, this needs to get fixed. You guys need to send someone out. If you don't believe us, then send someone out. And so that's what they did. They sent a field investigator out. The field investigator heard it, said, not right, not okay, we need to fix it. So what they basically decided on, same plan, phasers and cams. And then about 2 weeks of nothing went by, and they ultimately approved to replace just the cam phasers. You know, how they explained it to me is, dude, we can only do what Ford authorizes us to do. You know, we sell and service the cars. They're in control of what happens, you know, so especially under warranty repair, they have to go by the book. So they're like, we haven't done this, we haven't done that. You know, we have to do what they say. So I was like, dude, I understand that. I acknowledge that. So I got the car back Wednesday. They replaced the cam phasers. They pulled it out, and I traded in my trade-in, my courtesy car. I've been driving a Ford Taurus SEL for about 4 weeks. And we did the exchange. It sounded great, man. It was sitting there idling in the service bay. It sounded amazing. Pulled it off the lot and drove. I wanted to assess it myself, so I drove the windows down. Thought I heard some ticking going on, and then got it home and started like playing with it, doing the, okay, I'm going to park it, pull the e-brake, put it in neutral, start doing the gas like I do. You know, you just very softly on the gas, press it down until it's at about 1,000 to 1,300, and there it goes, tick, 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 tick. So I recorded it on video. Now, I sent that video to my service advisor and the service manager and said, you guys, cam phasers didn't work. Here's a video of it ticking. The ticking is louder and it's definitely more aggressive. So what they did is they went ahead and forwarded that video to Ford Hotline and said, we're going to forward this over and we're going to try to get pre-approval for whatever needs to get done. Bring your car in Monday and hopefully we'll have the next step. I met with the service advisor and he says, hey, my service manager wants to talk to you. So he brought me back in the shop and said, hey man, we sent it to Ford Hotline. Ford Hotline heard it. And I'm going to tell you this just as like the acknowledgement. The Ford advisor, the Ford technician, the Ford service manager, and Ford Hotline all confirmed this is not normal. This is bad, and this needs to be fixed. So he said we went ahead and we got pre-approval to replace the cylinder heads. So cam phasers didn't work. We're going to cylinder heads now. But my technician is like, dude, I'm pretty sure the sound is high. It's up high. Like they told me before, they thought they isolated it to a lifter on cylinder 1 or something. So they're still kind of like, you know, dude, it's up high. You know, I told them the short block, and they're like, you know, we got to do what Ford says. So they're replacing the cylinder heads, and we'll see how that goes. Hopefully that fixes the issue. But ultimately, you know, the saga continues, and I'm going to go with what they say. They say it's not normal and it needs to be fixed. So I'm let them open it up, see what happens. I mean, more and more people having their engines opened up from this engine tick and finding bad things. So I'm going to go ahead and let them do it. I'm thankful for all you guys posting your comments and saying, you know, hey, it's normal, just send it, you know, or hey, this helped me, or hey, change the oil to a 50W40, or, you know, hey, Roush is recommending, you know, a 5W50, or, you know, Whipple, you know, those are boosted cars. Boosted cars obviously push out more heat. You know, it's again, the Ford, I'm going to trust the Ford engineers, even though it seems like sorry, I'm trying not to swear in these videos. Seems like they messed something up with these Gen 3 Coyotes, but I got to go by what they say because I'm under warranty and I'm going to keep everything legal and legit here, which is pretty much why I haven't put any mods on. I haven't done anything to the car because it's just, I need to get it to a workable, reliable state before I do anything to this thing. I mean, I'm waiting right now to buy winter tires. It's getting cold. The mornings are getting down into the 40s. I'm not supposed to be driving those Michelin Pilot Sport 4S's or whatever they are, you know, and sub 40 degree temperatures. So it's like, I want to buy my spoiler. I want to get the windows tinted. You know, I want to get a new shifter, hopefully. Again, if anybody wants to sponsor me on a shifter or a spoiler, hit me up. But you know, it's like I'm sitting here waiting to do things, and I'm waiting to enjoy this car, but it's just been locked up in the shop. And it is what it is, man. You know, I waited 10 years for the car. It's my damn dream car, and it's just turning into a nightmare. But I'm getting over it, and I'm just letting the crumbs fall where they may. And I know ultimately everything's going to turn out okay. I just hope it doesn't escalate into the point where I gotta do a trade-in or a buyback. I mean, especially a buyback, dude, because there's no other car I want. I've been in love with the Ford Mustang my whole life. And the last 10 years I've been planning on getting one. And then when I finally get one, I'm looking at this. So trade-in's possible if it escalates into the point where it's just bad, so bad that, you know, it's like I need to get a 19. But I'm even hearing 19s are having issues now. So I don't know. I'm just going to go ahead and go with the groove here, and we'll keep you updated as things pop up. I'm hoping the next update isn't for a week or so, and it's me picking up the car and everything's good. But if they open it up and they start finding damage, or they start finding something that's significant enough for me to update you guys on, I will do that. In the meantime, please, everybody, continue to update the comments. Fill us in on what's going on with your cars. There's a couple of guys that I'm following hard on YouTube that are going through the same thing, who are now bringing theirs in to have their engines opened up, and a couple of them are in the middle of buybacks, all kinds of different things. So we're all keeping the online database going, basically, and there's a whole community of people that are following these videos and following all the same people that I'm following. So we're all familiar with what's happening with these cars. Again, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already. I'm going to keep the updates coming, and as soon as the car is back in working condition, we're going to go ahead and get back on the vlogs and the Instagram content. By the way, don't forget to follow me on Instagram at silverstang707. Just recently posted some new content for the weekend as I had the car. I posted some pictures, a couple of little videos and things. But you know, that's the place to follow if you want more current updates and little snippets and things of the car. So again, thanks for watching, everybody. I appreciate all the understanding. I appreciate all the the advice that people are giving me, and I appreciate all the feedback and stuff. I'm just not appreciating all the shit talking from a select few that are just super butthurt at the fact that I'm pooping on who knows what. But you know, for the most part, this community is really great, and we're going to keep this thing going. All right, thanks, everybody. I know this is a long, drawn-out video, but I wanted to really bring everybody up together as a whole, and I think I did that as best as I can. I'm not the best at articulating things, but I think you guys get the point. All right, guys, thanks for watching. See you next time.